For the first time, we have grabbable mugs on the stage. I'm going to be sipping on this thing whole episode for real. This is so great. Wow. That is first class service right there. So appropriate for tonight's episode. I'm so excited. But first things first, get your notes ready. Um, Everything is going to be streaming as always on Lux Vision Studios. You don't have to be in the meta. You don't have to catch it live, but you do have to catch it because they're all so good. Go back and watch the other episodes; those are also good too. And it's really crucial to get caught up to this point as well. But stick around if you're here, and it's going to be a really insightful and unique episode tonight. Um, but yeah, it's going to be on all platforms: YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you use. So make sure you are tuning in, letting your friends know that aren't in the metaverse, that you don't even have to be in VR to catch this because we're kind of trying to spread it outside the metaverse. That's the goal. But welcome back to Nurturing Your Creativity, everyone. I'm your host, Coda KOD, and we have arrived at week 6 of 7. And we have 2 special Mondays lined up for the last 2 nights of the seminar. And as always, let me share a bit about myself. I'm a singer, songwriter, poet, rapper, world builder, visual artist, philosopher, and motivational speaker from Minnesota. And last week, I was joined on stage by Angel the Artist. You can go back and watch that episode on YouTube. But we talked about art as a platform and developing your style, which will also be a topic that we're covering a bit tonight as well. So I'm so happy with where we are at in the seminar, though. So far, it's been amazing being joined by like-minded creatives coming on stage and willingly sharing their unique perspectives and creative secrets. And tonight will most certainly be no different. Today's topics are refining your aesthetic, the power of intentionality, the importance of details, collaboration, and a lot more than that. I have a bunch of tricks up my sleeve, a bunch of topics to get out there. And joining me on stage today is one of the best designers that I know, a classy individual who lies behind the scenes and lets his work speak for itself. He's also one of my best friends, and I had to convince him to come share his mastery with us on the show tonight. And I couldn't be more excited for this conversation. So, could everybody please throw up some confetti and give a warm welcome to the stage, Flextie? Let's go. Hey, welcome. Welcome to your own
Hey,
stage. I feel like you
yeah,
should be introducing me.
a bit wild to be a guest on my own stage.
I know. I like the touch on the grabbable mugs.
Just for my week.
That's amazing. Next week they're gone. You're gonna take them off. It's just for this week. Oh man. Well, thank you for joining me. This is gonna be a really insightful evening. But
Okay.
you already know how I do this because you've been here for every episode. Um, I'm gonna give you your flowers on stage, on your own stage here for everyone, and then we can dive into the conversation. Um, and I know how emotional you are, so I kept it short, really. But Flex, I mean, we go way back. We met in here for everybody, both doing our thing. I can say though, as long as I've known it, I've admired Flex's work. I think he has such a great eye for everything, so much that I trust his eye and opinion over most on the most important decisions I make, pretty much everything. Like outfits before my biggest shows, even like the littlest things. He just has a great eye for it. And we've collaborated a lot. We're in Team DeVeo together, which we will go into later. But Flex is also one of the only people I've had the privilege of meeting outside of the metaverse. We went to Disney World, Epcot to be specific. And if you know us in our architectural work, Epcot was just the place we were supposed to meet up. Um,
Perfect.
we were we went on the space ride and Flex panicked.
I
It was
did.
great.
I
It was
did.
great.
Apologies to any parents and children that heard the swears coming out of my mouth, but it is what it
It
is.
was it was so crazy. Yeah, that's a side of Flex that I don't know that anyone in the metaverse has seen, and I'm super blessed to have seen it myself firsthand. It was great, and yeah. But I mean, I feel like meeting someone in real life, though, you see real sides of them that you aren't able to see through a headset. And I can say, though, you are such a good guy behind the scenes, through and through, and you've always had my back. You are family to me, and
Likewise.
I
Likewise.
thank you for everything you've done for myself and the community alike. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Cheers
Thank
to you,
you.
man. Thank you,
Thank
seriously.
you.
Yeah. And now with all that out of the way, tell us kind of just the beginning of the Flextie story. That's what I want to know. Just like like where did you start in here?
Well, um, I bought a headset in January of 2022, just after Christmas. At that time, I didn't really consider myself a creative person at all. I work in the pool and spa industry as a service coordinator, um, and I joined as a consumer, regular consumer, world hopping mostly until about April. That's when I decided to start exploring the building aspect of the platform. And I found a side of myself I didn't really know existed because I
Yeah.
had previously sort of locked creativity in this box because I wasn't very good at painting or sculpting or drawing. That's basically what my view of creativity was.
Mm,
So I didn't think I was a very creative person until I started building here on the horizon,
yeah.
and that's just, well, as you can see, I am quite the creative.
He is now, and so it's something you've just developed
Yeah,
over time,
yeah,
and something you kind of just came into yourself.
yeah, and that's the beauty of this platform. I love to see my own progress,
Yeah.
how far I've come as a builder,
Hmm.
how my design language has evolved over time. I
Yes.
can go visit my older projects and just live in the moment.
Right. Cheers to the tavern and
No,
all of that
no, that is
successes.
not mine. That is not mine. I did not do that.
You gotta,
Takatato, the co-creator
yeah,
of the Guardian Theater, was responsible for the lovely tavern.
the tavern. Oh, that's great. Um, yeah, and we're gonna talk about collaboration and that Takatato figure
Yeah,
later. But yeah, because that's a whole thing, especially the Guardian too. Since we're in here, we have to talk about that. But
of course.
of course, I have that as a whole conversation section. Um, but back to like the beginning of the flex tie story. Tell me more about then like everything you've kind of built so far. Tell me about like some of the name builds that you have in here, some of your favorites that
Mm.
that really feel like represent you the most.
Well, where it all really started, where my journey as a creator, when I recognized that journey, it started with Lumen
Mm,
because
okay.
Lumen, my nightclub, was the first project that I just had a vision for. For those of you that don't know, I don't use reference images in any of the work that I put out. It all just comes to me straight through my head in visions. Um, and I'll talk about that more a little bit later. But
Yeah.
Lumen was so special because it was the first time that I realized, hey, I can do this
Mm,
and I can do it well.
yeah.
But it's not really the type of work that I'm putting out these days, but still so special. So special.
Yeah.
Um, Penthouse 78 was my first foray into homes. It was built completely primitive before any of the asset library mesh came out. Um, and it was quite freeing to build because that's really what I'm passionate about. And I'm very passionate about luxury and the warmth that comes along with it. And abstract design as well. It's it's so just it's comforting to me, and I love building it.
Mm.
Um,
It does have a warm feeling.
Very warm, yeah.
Yeah,
But I also tend to gravitate towards those warm, earthy tones in all of
that's
my
true.
builds, except for this one and
Yeah,
Lumen. Lumen's not very warm,
yeah.
but I love that comfortable feeling you get, the experience it provides, and the emotional connection you get when you walk in it and walk through the build.
So when did you initially like start to construct that warm style that you have that everyone knows you for in here?
Hmm. I think that started with Tranquility House,
Mm,
which was put out in
great build.
October of 2022. Um, you spawn in immediately. You see a gorgeous bamboo wall, and it's accented by um, suspended candlelight and a waterfall behind it, and it's so relaxing and just pleasant to look at. It's built entirely with primitive shapes, um, and that's kind of what set it off.
Mm,
That wall, that feeling that you get when you look at that.
yeah,
Um, and it continued again with Hawthorne House, which is by far my best work, and it is so comfortable and
yeah,
inviting.
I agree.
Yeah, I actually have a family that comes in there every week. I guess they live in separate states, but they get in
Wow.
headset and they go into Hawthorne and eat dinner together at the table every night
Oh my
or every
gosh.
week.
That is
And
so incredible.
it's so heartwarming to know that my work is being used in a way like that.
It truly is that too.
Yeah.
It's that's exactly what that house feels like,
Mhm.
and that's that warm feeling that you give. That's so awesome that people can really encapsulate that and almost bring that to life
Yeah,
even more than it already
absolutely.
was, just being the amazing space that it is already. Because Hawthorne is, I think, my favorite build
Yeah,
of yours as well. Yeah.
it's definitely mine. It's going to be very hard to beat that one.
Yeah.
Very hard.
And are you trying to beat it?
Yes.
Yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Um I am no longer focused on primitive builds. Horizon is moving into tri-mesh for the
Mm,
future. So I'm working full time on that and exploring all the possibilities that it allows.
yeah. So
And I'm going to
focusing
go a
on
little bit of a
tri-mesh.
different direction. I think it's going to be a bit surprising for some people.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be
Yeah,
different for sure.
I love to mix up my styles every now and then
Mm-hmm.
and just try out different things. Experimentation is one of the best parts of being a creative.
Yeah, that's very true. It keeps it fresh. It keeps everything new, and
Mm, absolutely.
just keeps you creating. I love it. Um. Okay, so kind of now that we've talked about everything that you've sort of created and what you
Mm.
are planning on a little bit, um, let's talk a little bit about DeVeo too, because I feel like that's kind of a staple to tonight's
Yeah.
episode and definitely is a big factor in making all this possible. We became friends before I joined DeVeo.
Yep.
Um, and so you were in DeVeo before me and doing stuff and always like telling me about it. And yeah, eventually one night I finally approached Matt and I was just like, hey, I think it's time.
I
And so,
remember, yeah, I
yeah,
remember telling you just go up and ask.
yeah. And I was like, how do I get in? Where's my in? And you're like, yeah, just ask him. It's
just
like, okay.
just ask.
So I am currently a member of DeVeo. Cheers to that. And
Cheers to DeVeo. Mm.
yeah, cheers to DeVeo. Flex is also still a member of DeVeo. We are, yeah,
Yep,
proud
there we go.
DeVeo members. Um, I think it's such a powerhouse team,
Yeah,
and um, just so much potential, and just so much that's gonna happen. I'm excited about it. I'm really happy with everything that it's already accomplished too.
yeah, yeah. It has a tremendous amount of upside potential
Yeah,
in what we've accomplished on like already on the platform. I couldn't be prouder of.
yeah,
Couldn't be happier with.
yeah. And we're gonna definitely go into like talking about some of the builds more in depth. But one of the
Yeah.
things I wanted to bring up in a matter of collaboration
Mhm.
was, and this is a good segue into it, I feel like, the DeVeo HQ.
Yes. Yep.
Can you tell me that story a little bit? Is there
Mm.
like a little synopsis of like how that went down, the whole deal
So
and everything?
when I initially joined the team, uh, I pretty much immediately like looking at looking at the website, looking at the design language of DeVeo. Like from the very start, I wanted to build a headquarters. Like, let me at it.
Yeah.
um, it was a few months before we actually started conversations of that. I remember being in Matt Lowe's The Buble bathroom when he approached me about collaborating on the headquarters, and I like immediately all in, all in. um,
Yeah.
we wanted to have a very futuristic feeling for the headquarters, kind of like a biotech
Yeah.
feel. Um, some people actually say that it looks like a gaming console.
A little
The,
bit, yeah.
yeah, a little bit. PS6, anyone?
Yep. Yep. It's got a little bit PlayStation vibe to it, but
Yeah, that was it.
it's an amazing
Honestly,
design though.
that
Really.
that headquarters was so fun to build. Um, I remember creating the shape of the building. I went through a few different revisions, but when I reached the final product, I looked, I stepped back, and I looked at it. That is it. That is the
Mm,
one.
yeah.
And I remember texting Matt and saying, "Hey, you got to get on. You got to see this. I have a surprise for you." And
Yeah.
when he hopped into edit mode, I deleted it. I told him, "You're going to need to get big for this." So
Yeah.
you zoom out to 500x, as big as you can go in edit mode. I pull it out, and he's he's just like, "Yes, is that's our headquarters. That's it."
Yeah. Oh man.
And I created the exterior. We collaborated on the interior.
Yeah.
And as that was progressing, multiple times during that project, we just step back and be like, "Wow!"
Hmm.
And that's what I love about not only creating in Horizon, but collaborating with Matlow as well. He's fantastic. Um, you can see the progress that you're making and really enjoy it. You can live in that moment of creating and the anticipation of other people seeing your work. It's
Yeah.
truly wonderful. And the headquarters is one of my favorite things I've ever worked on.
Mm.
Just because I could exercise my ability to to create something that I felt was along the lines and um, well, it fell in line with what DeVeo is and what it stood for. but it still stands for today.
And do you feel like the design of the place was, would you say, was more complex, simple? Like, do you feel like it kind of fell together? Was it an easier process? Like, I more just bring that up because you guys were like, you kept stepping back and looking at it bigger picture. I feel like I always do that when it's like
Yep.
just falling together really easily. I slap like one part together and I'm like, oh, that's good. And then I like kind of step back and just look at that. And it's like, okay,
Yep.
move on to the next part.
Yep.
And
It definitely fell together
yeah,
pretty easily. We did not have many, if any, questions on should we do this, should we not do this. It was very straightforward. One of
yeah,
the easiest things I've ever produced.
mm,
Yeah, it was brilliant.
yeah. And I'm not sure if I've said this on a previous episode, but I need to make sure I say it again. But
Mhm.
the things that come the easiest are always going to be the best.
Yes, absolutely.
They're like the ideas that are just boiling over, ready to be put out, ready to be constructed into a full project, or just ready to be applied.
Yeah,
And
there's definitely beauty in struggle,
yeah,
but like when it's easy, it's fun. It's
right,
just really fun.
yeah. And even if it's easy, sometimes it comes together easy and you can identify it. And then once you identify that it's coming easy and you know that you have gold, then you can sit on something for a while and nurture
Yep.
it for a while, and give it the proper time and detail and
Yep.
intention that it needs. Um, a world that this kind of rings a bell of is one that has a very special place in my heart. I think you
Hmm.
might even know what I'm talking about just by me saying that, and that says a lot. But I'm talking about Aurora, of
Yep.
course. Um, Aurora Mystical Sky is uh, Flex and I's collab world in here.
Yep.
Well, one of them, and I think it's our proudest collab world for sure.
Yeah,
We've done other
definitely.
stuff, but this is like one we really just, I think we spent a little over a year in there stepping in and checking on it and moving around little sticks on the frozen lake and making sure it was perfect before we released it. But I feel like that build touches on the main topic for tonight, which is intentionality.
Yep.
Um, and that was something that it came so simple, but we also had to be intentional. Um,
Yep.
and so, how did you
Very.
feel like you kind of balanced the intentional and like the free flowing nature of creativity when we were working on that? Because I don't think I ever even talked to you about that.
Hmm. Yeah, you really have to find a balance.
Mm,
You really have to find a balance. Um, you have to set sort of like a structured framework. You create a general course of action. And as you're moving through each phase of production, you just allow yourself time to think and just be inspired by whatever. Because inspiration comes from all aspects of life.
yeah,
You have to allow yourself the time and the space to receive that inspiration and act on it and implement it into whatever you're working on.
yeah,
But you have to have that structured framework because
yeah,
otherwise you're just going to, if you're like me, you're going to run off on 12 different rabbit holes.
yeah,
You're never going to get that project done.
yeah. Very true. And do you feel like it's the same guidelines? Do you use the same guidelines when like intentioning a certain emotion for a certain space? Like when you're intending for a certain emotion to be felt by somebody when they walk into a space. That's what I more mean by
um,
that.
yeah, yeah. Well, go back to what Gail said on week one. As
Yeah.
as artists, we're always striving for you, the consumer, to feel something when you see or experience something that we've created. We can try our best to make it one specific emotion, but depending on what the project is or who is viewing it or experiencing it, they could feel something entirely different from what we intended. So we can try our best, but we can't control everything.
Yeah.
But it is very important to to try to make them feel something. Emotional connection is very important when you're creative creating something, whether that be art, a sculpture, or a meta home.
Yeah. And you have to create to love it.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
like your office that you love so dearly.
Yes, my office is one of my favorite builds.
I also love your office so dearly. We have had a lot of conversations just like super formally. I'll
Yep.
text you meeting in your office at this time or be like meet in my office at 8:30. We'll show up and just sit at the desk, just talk about nonsense.
Yep.
um but no, I love that build because it just has that true flex tie aesthetic to it.
Yep.
Um that you just hold so dear, and I love it. I think it's such a unique feeling that you've mastered, and that office was like one of the builds where I just really felt it. Everywhere you looked
Yeah.
in that place,
It was
definitely got to visit that world, y'all.
it
Flex
was
Ties office.
definitely
Oh,
a high
I need
point.
rivers. Yeah. I
It'll
gotta drink
respond.
coffee. There we
There it
go.
goes.
Nice.
Definitely a high point. I absolutely loved building that office.
Yeah.
Um, I struggle a lot when I first start out on a build. The the blank grid is very intimidating. But once you get the ball rolling and the inspiration is flowing, or the vision comes, in my case, that's that's the really fun part, because then
Mm,
you start implementing things, you step back, you start to see the vision unfold.
yeah.
But my favorite part is putting the finishing details in.
Mm,
Just the icing on the cake. It's the best part.
yeah. Finishing details are everything.
Yeah, absolutely. They're everything. Make it or break it.
Yeah. Like the finishing detail of Aurora for me was a whole other like bedroom and couch area separate from.
The
It was like
nest.
a whole other, yeah, it was the nest, the eagle's nest.
Yep.
But it was basically a whole other tiny house perched up in the mountains.
Yep. You did
So
very
even
well
the
with that.
thank
Very
you.
well.
We had just a little bit of capacity left, and I was like, what could I do with this?
You
Um,
stretched it to the
and
max.
stretched it. I had to stretch it a little bit. Um, but yeah, the finishing details, like I would always say, I even said that in the past few weeks, like the final details right before I even come into an episode of this.
Yep.
And uh, yeah, it's it's something that I like to almost procrastinate because I feel like it builds up the idea a little bit more. Like the idea almost naturally starts evolving itself, and then
Yes. Yep.
when it's ready to come out, like because you waited on it a little bit, it'll be more ready once you actually get it out there. Um, and also something I wanted to bring up: stage fright is something that both of us have
Oof. Very much. Very much so.
very much. So we are risking it all for you guys right now.
You have no
even
idea.
even in the metaverse, it's the same thing, yo. It's the same thing. I've been on stages in real life too. I feel like it's just as intimidating in the
Oh yeah.
metaverse for some reason. I have no idea why. But um but sometimes if you're in a pursuit of a creative passion, you have to face fears
Yeah.
and get out of your comfort zone. And oftentimes it's those things that when you accomplish them, that's when you level up. It's because you got through those things that you leveled up. Because through those trials, through that growing, are the most valuable lessons that you need to take you to the next level of whatever you're pursuing.
Yes.
Um, how do you, how do you feel like you like what are some things that you've kind of used to almost level up, like things you've have to had to push through uncomfortable zones? Are there any like uncomfortable zones that come to mind that are like I
Hmm.
really had to go through this to like it could even be this really. I know
Interviews.
that. Yeah, yeah, interviews, okay, that's solid, yeah. So
Yeah.
this
Yep. Interviews are definitely a struggle,
mm,
but
cheers.
with each passing interview, you get stronger and stronger.
Yep.
Yep. That's really the only thing I've struggled here in the metaverse anyway.
Hmm.
I don't think I've really come across that many struggles I haven't been able to overcome.
Yeah. And I know that you're a behind the scenes, let your work speak for itself
Very
kind of guy.
much so.
We've talked about that.
Yeah.
But do
Very
you like
much so.
to still see people's reactions too?
That's one of the best parts.
Okay, so you like to still be there for the reaction, but like also be a recluse.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't like talking about my work. I let my
Mm,
work speak for itself
yeah.
because it's I don't know, it's just who I am. Um, but being there for the reaction is everything. That's like why I do it. Like I want to see people light up
Mm,
from something that I've done.
yeah.
It's
And
just
I've seen it. I've seen it happen.
yeah.
Like you've done even little renovations in your worlds, like the one in the penthouse where you added the quotes hidden throughout.
Yep. Yep.
And yeah, you had quotes throughout, and there was like achievements that you could get for each quote. And I actually went through and did the quote obstacle hunt. It was awesome.
Might have made that one a bit too hard.
I say obstacle hunt because it was like an obstacle course trying to find it in that place because there was so many. Yeah, there was like little statements like hidden upside down on like shelves, and
Literally little, like
it
very small.
was yeah, it was maybe a little too difficult because I was looking for a couple of hours, but
And I color matched a lot of them to whatever they were on. So they were incredibly difficult to find, and I apologize for anyone who really struggled, but that's also part of the fun.
right. And I think it encouraged people to look a little bit closer at
Yep.
your work, which you put detail into. And a lot of times we're not in a environment or around a crowd of people. Oftentimes our work isn't in a crowd of people that wants to look closely, that
No.
wants to take the time to look at all the little details and the little like bolts that you added on the vent on the floor and the like little things that you took the extra time to do.
And the
um
extra capacity.
right, and the extra capacity. And I think that comes down to loving it yourself and doing it for yourself too, and that's where you always have to come back to that. I'm creating for self.
You
um
absolutely have to do it for
and
yourself. Yeah.
and then when you do that, then you get to have little things hidden in your world and things that only you know about. And when you tour
Yep.
people around your world, you're like, oh yeah, this is here. You can show them this little secret room. This is how you get in a VIP room, and they have to be with you to go to those places or whatever. So it's like a special thing that you get to unlock within your work, and you always have your heart lying in your work. I
Yep.
feel like you and I both always have like a hidden room or something in all of the
You
worlds.
always do.
I
You
do.
always do. I
Yeah.
don't think I have. Well, I have one. I have one world with a hidden room.
Really?
Yes, I won't say what it is.
I'm thinking back. Yeah, we're not gonna say what it is.
I think you
But
know. I
oh yeah,
believe you've been there.
yes, yeah, I've been there. But yeah, have to have a hidden room. I feel like because hidden rooms are like you get to watch the reaction without having to speak for it, and then you get to kind of just stay humble about everything and just step back and let the work truly speak for itself. Um,
Yeah, well, if I'm
yeah,
in one of my builds with someone new to it who's experiencing it for the first time, I really just I don't talk.
mm,
Part of that is I am an introvert and don't like strangers. But the other part is letting them experience it for what it is
mm-hmm,
without my input,
yeah, and
letting
it,
them interpret it for themselves.
yeah, yeah, because everyone will interpret it differently
Yeah.
and feel the emotion that you put into it as their own different emotion. They'll see it through their own lens.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
and that is why it's so important being in the right environment with like sharing your art. Um have you ever had a point where like you've had to come face to face with critiques and
Yes.
like critics and had to like deal with that or overcome that necessarily?
Um,
I don't know if necessarily like you always have to overcome critiques. Like a lot of them can be really good, but like have you ever had a problem with critiques? Is my question more so.
mm, not really. No.
Okay.
No. I mean, it depends on what sort of critiques we're talking about.
Right.
Critiques born out of negativity or jealousy, not really, because you know I know what I do.
Yeah.
Like I know what I can do, and I know my value and the quality of my work. Um, Constructive criticism, bring it on.
Yeah.
Give me more. Give it to me.
Yeah.
Um, you need constructive criticism to grow, no matter
Yep.
what. Because you may think you're the best or at the top of your game, but there's always an area you can improve in.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially me. I have quite a few areas I can still improve in.
Right. Same. um and also perfectionism.
Yes, perfectionism is a double edged
Perfectionism.
sword.
Yeah, let's talk about Z ripping and everything that we've missed in this seminar. It's perfectionism is one of the I feel like it's a battle for me as I know it can be for you at times.
Quite,
Um
quite.
how do you cope with it? Have you even figured out a way to cope with it?
It is a balancing act because I am like a very strong perfectionist. I will
Mm,
nitpick my builds to death.
mm-hmm.
And the list of unreleased worlds in my creation tab is proof of that. But you have to have a little bit of perfectionism in order to push yourself to put out the best product that you absolutely can.
Mm-hmm.
Because without a little bit of perfectionism, you're gonna get messy.
Yeah.
But
So
if
is
you
it
have too
more
much, the project will never see the light of day.
yeah. So is it more, sorry to cut you off, and like is it more like realistic standards then that you're setting for yourself,
Yeah,
or like
realistic.
realistic, maybe just outside of realistic to push yourself?
It's realistic standards versus the um the desire to innovate
Mm,
and
yeah.
do something that hasn't been done before. Which when you're building in headset like we do in with primitive builds, it can be very hard to innovate. So that's part of the perfection struggle for me, because
Mm,
for me to release something, it has to be innovative in some way. It has to push the boundaries.
yeah.
Otherwise, I won't publish it.
Yeah.
And
It's got to
that's
push
that's the
boundaries.
battle.
Yeah. So it's like you're constantly fighting this like perfectionism battle behind the scenes, waiting, plotting on things to drop, share, work on, put in
Yep.
the back seat, what to
Mm-hmm.
prioritize.
Yep. What to prioritize, where to prioritize it.
Mm,
It's it's all a balancing act because perfectionism is a double-edged sword. You need it, but you don't want too much of it.
right. You can't let it control you.
Right.
You have to control it.
Correct.
So if you
You have to
can gain little bit of a handle on perfectionism
use it to your
as
advantage, not don't let it control you.
yeah, yeah, that's good. Y'all writing this down? Y'all better be
You
writing
have
this
to
down.
you have to let yourself make mistakes because those mistakes are growth.
Mic drop.
Not everything you release
Yeah.
has to be amazing.
Yeah.
It is good enough. You have to learn to recognize when something is good enough.
Yeah. And recognize that it's good enough when you love it,
Yeah.
not when you think someone else is going to love it.
Yeah,
That doesn't decide when a project is done.
you have to build, to create for yourself, for the love of creation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your product probably won't be very good
Yeah.
because you're motivated for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I remember I did go into depth a little bit on
Hmm.
that too with Harls. So definitely go back and check that episode out, y'all, for more info. Because I feel like we've really dived headfirst into so many of these different little creative topics.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's kind of how I structured this, was just points that I wanted to cover within the seminar,
Yep.
and then just said, okay, Angel would be perfect for this, and Flex would be perfect for this, and RJ would be perfect for this. So, um, and then just kind of placed out all the ideas and sort of put them in where they felt right. We're going to be talking about some more ideas tonight, but we're going to take just a little 5 minute break, have a little intermission as we do. And we do have some people in here. I know we didn't do it last week, but I want to do a Q&A. If you guys think up any questions, um, please write down some questions for either Flex or me or both of us,
Yeah.
and
Bring them on.
we will answer to the best of our ability. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the first half of the episode, and we will be back for a second half, an insightful second half of nurturing
Insightful
your
plays.
creativity.
All
Oh yeah. All right, we'll be back, y'all.
right.
Are you looking to take your online presence to the next level? At Lux Vision Studios, we're your one-stop shop for building a strong digital brand and connecting with your target audience. We produce high-quality shows in a variety of formats, including podcasts, talk shows, gaming content, and motivational videos. Our team of experts will manage your social media channels and branding, helping you amplify your story and reach a wider audience. We stream content across popular social media platforms and Roku, ensuring maximum visibility. Whether you're a gamer, entrepreneur, or looking to inspire others, we have the expertise to help you achieve your online goals. Here's what sets us apart: engaging content. We produce a variety of shows to keep your audience interested and coming back for more. Social media and branding mastery. We'll manage your online presence and build a strong brand that resonates with your target audience. Multi-platform reach. We stream your content across popular platforms and Roku, maximizing your visibility. Community focus. We believe in fostering a community around your content, creating a loyal following. Let Lux Vision Studios help you connect with your community and amplify your voice online.
Hey, what's up? This your boy Teray,
CJ Shotner. It's your boy Westside.
and you chilling with the Breaking Bread podcast. Hey, tune in and check us out every Saturday for some good talk.
You already know.
Good
the
conversation.
realest talks. You hear me?
Yeah, tune in.
Breaking Bread. Breaking Bread.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy HG. I was 702. Let's get tripping like a kid untie his shoes. And you see the vibe and you see the move. Where I'm at, that's the Hour Live to be exact. And you can catch me live on Lux Vision Studios to be exact. So make sure you tune in every Friday night, 11 Central, 12 Eastern, and 9 Pacific. And you know, everybody's a somebody. Catch me live on Lux Vision Studio. Let's go.
Awesome. God bless everybody. I'm so glad, amen, that everything is finding you well, and I pray it's finding you well. This is Pastor Johnny live from our sanctuary here in the Metaverse at Word of Grace Meta Church. I want to invite you out to our service here on Sunday nights for worship and the word, now streaming through Lux Vision Studios. So excited about that and what God is doing in this space and place. See you Sunday. God bless you.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Burden the Proof. You're watching Ask the Q Speak Your Truth every Wednesday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, courtesy of Lux Vision Studios. Later.
Hi, I'm Jen Smash, and I'm here at VIP Entrepreneur Academy, where this is a world that you can learn how to start a business. For all you entrepreneurs who want to learn how to start a business, this is the ideal place to learn in the metaverse. This is a 9-week course where we go ahead and dissect every section of a business, from understanding your customer and industry to creating your budget for payroll and even taxes. We break down what is the requirements for you to have a successful business. So if you're ready to become an entrepreneur and want to learn the ropes, VIP Entrepreneur is ready to take in new students just like you. You can contact me at vipentrepreneur@gmail.com. See you at the next class.
Welcome to Horizon Squares, the game show in the metaverse that will make you laugh. It's tic tac toe with a twist every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Horizon Worlds. And you'll be joined with me, your host, Sherwin. And shout out to Lux Vision Studios, our sponsor. This will be available on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all your social media. So make sure you check us out every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you at Horizon Squares.
What? But why does she like haunted house so much?
Just cool. I don't know.
I haven't been in there in so long. I bet
It's
she's
cool.
good at it.
It's fun when you got good people to play with. But
Yep. Ready?
Yes, sir. I bet she's.
it does get repetitive.
Yeah.
But she like playing repetitive games. I ain't stopped for a while, like a good while. She's like, why you don't come play her house with me no more? Kind of over that game. Like, then they added new stuff to it and introduced new levels.
Mm. Keep it coming back.
She all level like 200 and shit. I'm like only 85. I'm like, come on.
All right, we are back. We are back. Does anybody have any questions for us? Any questions before we dive into it? It's totally fine. If not, just gonna leave an opportunity for questions. Anybody got one?
I think D's coming
We
over.
got, hey, we got D. Shout out to D.
Hello.
That's a real
Hi,
one.
D.
Hello,
Yeah.
Flexie.
Hi,
Hi.
D. That's
So,
family right there.
one question I do have is when you start a build, let's say you're like starting a build, and I've been with you on many builds, what is the one thing that comes to your mind creatively? Like, how do you get in the process of this is how I'm going to build? What I'm going to build? Is it just something that pops in your head and you just automatically do it? Or is it something that you've like thought about and processed like completely and like, I know what I'm going to build? Or do you just, your creativeness just kind of builds itself? Or is it something you plan out before the build?
Um, I have two methods. So the first one would be the visions that come. I'll start by building the base of those visions and evolving it over time and refining it. Um, or the entire build will usually be built around um, standout pieces, um, like the chandelier in 49th Grove.
Yeah.
the the bamboo wall in Tranquility House, the entertainment center in Hawthorne, something to immediately draw your eye and shock you, usually. um, those those pieces usually inspire the builds, what they turn into,
Yeah.
or I'll just create them based off of the vision.
Yeah. And never, we said it before, we'll say it again, never underestimate the little ideas
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
the little things, you know, a whole penthouse can come from just a chandelier piece that was the whole intention of just being the chandelier piece, you know, that turned out to be the
Yep,
centerpiece for,
I like my statement pieces in my builds. They're the
yeah.
defining characteristics.
Yeah. And what is the statement? Is there a statement piece in the Guardian at all? Or
Hmm.
I feel like the Guardian is a statement piece. Really.
It is. The Guardian changed my design language quite a bit.
Mm.
From
Do you
this
feel like that
point,
was because of the influence from the collaborator?
definitely. I mean, the build itself changed both of us,
Mm.
changed our design languages, our
Yeah.
individual styles. Um, for me, I started implementing a lot more curves in my builds from this point on. Um, the beams, the curves in the beams, the slight curve around the auditorium. It's like it melts around, and that just ah,
It
it's such an
looks
important detail
great.
that creates the ambiance for the build,
Yeah.
and that's what really changed for my own design language. I started using a lot more circles, making a lot more bends and curves that were previously I was known for using a lot of straight lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way, and I feel like uh similar influence as you. Um, we have a special guest in the crowd tonight who helped influence us, who made only straight lined, squared, sharp edge creations. And, you know, I remember when he started messing around with curve shapes, but shout out to Takatato up there. Shout out to Takatato.
He's in the
A
sound booth above. He won't come
some
down. We know you're
um
up there and we appreciate your presence.
no, he's down there. There he
Oh,
is.
there you are.
He's on the couch. A, but yeah, Taka is a legend in the space. One of the most renowned creators in here.
A brilliant mind.
Has done such amazing work in here. Yeah, truly brilliant mind. And I just remember when Taka started messing around with all these things, he started really pushing the limits of what was possible within build mode. And I just remember being in build mode, just hanging out with him because Taka is seriously one of the most fun individuals I've ever been around. He's just fun to be around. So I'd just be in build mode, like messing around, hanging out, and he would just be throwing together crazy stuff too. And I have to say, Taka, you inspired me to do rounded edges, and I had to bring that up too because Flex also same like
Yep.
pretty much
Yeah,
same situation. Yeah, like
absolutely. Like it's
experimenting with it.
you have to experiment.
Yeah.
Like Taka and I were in build mode last night, just messing around, and I made something that I'm probably gonna implement in a future build
Hmm.
just by seeing what stuck, messing
Yeah.
around with different things, exploring different options, different designs.
Yeah.
You can't box yourself in.
No. And sometimes you need to collaborate to get yourself out of the box you put yourself in.
Yep.
Because it takes an outside person to take you outside of the box,
Yeah, absolutely.
or to even
And
tell you that you're in the box.
I would say I was in the box when Taka approached me for, well, when we started this. He didn't really approach me. We just sort of jumped in.
Mm,
Um, but man, collaborating on The Guardian was one of my favorites because we worked, Taka and I worked really well together.
it
Every
was,
single,
yeah, it was fast too.
very fast. We did it in 3 days, I think. Every single decision was made in the snap of a finger. It was just, oh, does this look good? Yes, no, okay, move on. What about this? I don't think so. Let's try something different, or let's wait and see how we feel about it a little bit later.
Mm,
It was incredibly efficient, and the results speak for themselves.
right. And that's a healthy collaboration when you can say and almost critique the ideas as they're coming and just be okay with it and do
Yep,
what's right for the greater good of the project. And that's where you have to take emotions out of it sometimes because you don't ever want to take it personally when someone's like, I don't like the way that looks. That doesn't fit there.
yep. You have
You know,
to
you should
consider
just construct yourself to it. So there is a fine line there of
a
what you
balance.
can.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Don't get offended by critiques. Grow from them.
Yeah. Yeah. And there is obviously a time where critiques will be negative and you have to
Yep,
drown them out. And it's like, I'm not listening to those. But there's times where it matters and there's times and places for opinions and how you should implement them into your art because
yep.
it might shape you.
And it's
Um,
also how you critique someone.
yeah.
There's a right way to critique someone, and there's a wrong way to critique someone, and that will
Yeah.
make all the difference.
Yeah. Absolutely. Sorry, taking a drink of water. Um, but yeah, but you are responsible for making the creation beautiful,
Yeah. Yep.
and that's why it's important to be intentional even when collaborating, especially when
Absolutely.
collaborating because you're mixing up your style um with others, like you're
Yep.
putting your own kind of like paint on someone else's
You're
other
blending.
paint, you know. It's
You're
like, and on a shared canvas, and it's like a, you know, it's such an interesting dynamic.
you have to choose the right collaborators.
Yes.
That is so so important. Not only
Yeah.
from like a design perspective, but also you have to trust them,
Yeah.
and you have to be comfortable working around them. Because
Absolutely.
if you don't trust them and you're not comfortable around them, it's not going to be fun, and the result probably won't be that great because you won't be putting all of yourself into it.
Mm-hmm.
You won't be free for inspiration. You'll be worried the entire time or just not having a good time, which restricts your own creativity.
Yeah. And so it's important to almost instill context
Yeah.
and gain a background, a friendship,
Yep.
a relationship with the person where you can really like get to know them on a level where they're comfortable with you because art is so vulnerable. And if you're collaborating on something, it can't just be like, okay, you sit and do your part and I'll sit and do my part. And then we'll like, just kind of
Yep.
go from there. It's like a more so you can touch base with it, talk about it, move along the process with each other. I feel like that's the way a healthy collaboration should look
Yes.
when you
Yes.
have that communication
Touching
and that
base from
that friendship.
various parts of the build,
Right.
checking in on each other, seeing what works, what doesn't work,
Yeah.
and asking each other's opinions about things because it is a blend of two styles, two different styles, and it has to work right.
Yeah.
Has to work right.
Yeah. So it's helpful to instill that like friendship dynamic.
Yeah,
That's
incredibly
that's really
helpful.
important.
It's a key.
Go to Disney World with whoever you're going to collaborate with. That's a that's a pro tip. um yeah, it worked. It worked for us at least. But I always feel like it's always been just like super fun to collaborate with you. I feel like that way with all the people that I've had the best collaborations with. It's always just been super fun. I remember you also said it's amazing to collab with Matlow. I second that. I've had the honor of collabing with Matlow, and it is so fun. It's just good to be around like your friends in a perspective of like they're doing their thing too. They're doing their artistic
Yep.
design, and that's a whole different side of a person that I feel like when you're able to share that, it brings the friendship that you already built to a deeper level, and you can really get to know each other. I've had some really deep conversations with you and Matt and other people I've collabed with, just like while we're collabing, just like throwing stuff together and just like talking about super random deep stuff. And uh, those are some of the greatest memories that I have. So most importantly, don't get lost in the seriousness of creativity.
Don't get lost
You
in the
know,
seriousness. Have fun
have
and
fun.
don't put it in a box.
Yeah. Um, and this place is a product of what happens when you have fun. And
Yeah.
because I know you guys were goofing around and laughing while you were making this. I was here a few times. It was
Yeah, that is Taka in a nutshell,
exactly.
which is
And more
it's
gets done.
fantastic.
More gets done when it's fun. Write that down. Write that down, everybody. More gets done when it's fun. That's good. Um, rounding third, heading for home. We do have 10 minutes left.
Yep.
So we're gonna do like a power 10 minutes here. Um, but I kind of want to just recap down the line of the things that we kind of talked about. Um, but the original topic was intentionality in your art, and you're so intentional, you're so detail oriented, and it shows. And we talked about the power and the importance of details and everything that goes into all the little things that
Absolutely.
when you zoom out and see the bigger picture after focusing on the little things, it's a bigger canvas and it's more beautiful because you see those areas populated, higher definition.
Yep.
Um, and that's something that always constantly shows through your art. Um, what is your message to somebody who is struggling with what details to focus on? They're overthinking, they're overwhelmed.
Hmm.
How do I be intentional is the question. Help the helpless creative that is struggling with that right now.
Stop focusing too much.
Hmm.
You can't focus on like the final product. You have to focus on one piece at a time. Take it in little bits and be open to exploration and inspiration from wherever it will come. Because I have had builds that I've sat on for months with no progress until one day a flicker of inspiration comes and I'll be like, oh, I can do that. And it turns out great. So for anyone struggling, just maybe take a step back, reevaluate the purpose of the build, what you want to get out of it, why are you building it, and just maybe wait it out, give it some time. It
Yeah,
will come. Inspiration will come. You'll know the right path to take.
yeah, absolutely. I agree. That's that's wise words, you guys.
You
You
can't
guys have
just,
to
you
watch
can't
this
force it.
back. Do it.
You
But yeah,
cannot force it. It will not
can't
come.
force it. Can't force it. That's so true. Yeah. Yeah, like I was saying though, like please watch this back if you have to cuz that is amazing. Wise words.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And and also we talked about refining your aesthetic too.
Yeah.
And like we know obviously like your style and your aesthetic is important, but refining it is a whole different battle than developing it even and evolving it. Um how how would you say somebody could go about evolving in that way?
Hmm. It kind of goes back to intention a little bit. It depends on the build's purpose. Um, every color choice, typography decision, material, texture has to have a purpose in the build. Um, and it has to flow together. That's where that's where the magic happens is the cohesiveness of the design language as an entire build. Because if it doesn't flow right, it'll break the magic.
Hmm. One fluid thought,
One fluid thought.
one complete emotion. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
that's good. And then also we talked about collaboration on multiple different builds
Yep.
that you're a part of in here. And collaboration is so important. We know that it's one of those things that can help you break out of a shell as a creative, and it can unlock new, fresh things within your creative journey that you may not have even known.
Yep. Hmm.
Um, just when you kind of think you know it all, I guess you collaborate with somebody and they're like, hey, you know about this? Or you ever tried this? It's like, whoa, somebody with a different perspective. this
Yep.
is
Hmm.
crazy. Um, how do you feel like collaboration has played a part in your overall development as Flextie now? Like
Collaboration.
what would
Mm.
you just credit to collaboration?
The evolution of my brand identity
Hmm.
was heavily influenced by the collaborative experiences that I've had in this space.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, it's so important to have another person's perspective there
yeah,
because if you're the only one creating something all the time, it's going to get a little bit repetitive. And you need someone there with a different perspective, a different art style to come in and say, hey, maybe we should try doing this, right? Do something a little bit different,
yeah,
get you outside of your comfort zone, because that's how you evolve as a creator, getting outside your comfort zone, trying new things.
yeah, and just keep going
Yeah.
until you become a master of your creativity. Which is leading me to the end of our conversation, unfortunately. As much as this conversation has been so enlightening, so much fun, um It's been such a great convo, but we do have to cut it off here. But I appreciate everybody that came out. I appreciate you for sharing all of your insight. Um, Thank you for coming out, and thank you for being you. I just appreciate you, and just keep being great. Seriously, you inspire me, you inspire the community, and we all can't wait for what you have next.
I do have one thing to say
Yeah,
to end us.
yeah.
If there's anyone out there who maybe doesn't think they're a creative person or good at being creative,
Mm,
maybe you just haven't found the right outlet. Um,
yeah.
Creatives touch everything we do in everyday life, in every aspect of it. They influence what we watch on our phones, the design of our phones, the buildings that we walk through to get our morning coffee, um, the cars we drive to work every day. Everything that we interact with on a daily basis, in some form or another, was touched by a creative person. So keep that in mind and just be open to exploration and trying new things because you never know. You could find you're really good at something.
Just because you don't understand it does not mean that you don't like it.
Yep. There we go.
Thank you for that. That is beautiful. Seriously. Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome. That's truly wise words. I hope y'all got that. Um yeah, we definitely can conclude with that. That is such a strong finish. We are going to be back next week for the final week. Unfortunately, it's the final week already of nurturing your creativity, but it is a fortunate case of week 7
It's been a
with the
wild
special
ride.
guest. The special guest is going to be Matt Lowe, as right as he
3D.
spawns out.
Ready to spawns out.
It's gonna be Matt Lowe, Matt Lowe, 3D, and it's gonna be such a great episode. The topic is mastering your creativity.
Yep.
To really be running third, heading for home, as a whole episode, we're gonna kind of talk about everything, all in a nutshell, and it's going to be really, really good. So make sure you guys are here for that. But thank you guys for showing up tonight and showing up every week in the Nurturing Your Creativity seminar.
Thank you.
Again, my name is Coda KOD, and this is Flex. We are out of here. Cheers. Have a blessed night,
Cheers.
you guys.
Are you looking to take online presence to the next level? At Lux Vision Studios, we're your one-stop shop for building a strong digital brand and connecting with your target audience. We produce high-quality shows in a variety of formats, including podcasts, talk shows, gaming content, and motivational videos. Our team of experts will manage your social media channels and branding, helping you amplify your story and reach a wider audience. We stream content across popular social media platforms and Roku, ensuring maximum visibility. Whether you're a gamer, entrepreneur, or looking to inspire others, we have the expertise to help you achieve your online goals. Here's what sets us apart: engaging content. We produce a variety of shows to keep your audience interested and coming back for more. Social media and branding mastery. We'll manage your online presence and build a strong brand that resonates with your target audience. Multi-platform reach. We stream your content across popular platforms and Roku, maximizing your visibility. Community focus. We believe in fostering a community around your content, creating a loyal following. Let Lux Vision Studios help you connect with your community and amplify your voice online.
No, I'm good out in these streets.
I'm saying because that's not what I was saying. I was asking because he's kind of standing.
Hi, I'm Jen Smash, and I'm here at VIP Entrepreneur Academy, where this is a world that you can learn how to start a business. For all you entrepreneurs who want to learn how to start a business, this is the ideal place to learn in the metaverse. This is a 9-week course where we go ahead and dissect every section of a business, from understanding your customer and industry to creating your budget for payroll and even taxes. We break down what is the requirements for you to have a successful business. So if you're ready to become an entrepreneur and want to learn the ropes, VIP Entrepreneur is ready to take in new students just like you. You can contact me at VIP Entrepreneur Academy at gmail.com. See you at the next class.
What's good, y'all? This is Coda KOD. I'm at the Guardian Theater at the set of the Nurturing Your Creativity seminar. This is on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, and this is streaming on Lux Vision Studios.
Welcome to Horizon Squares, the game show in the metaverse that will make you laugh. It's tic-tac-toe with a twist every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Horizon Worlds. And you'll be joined with me, your host, Sherwin. And shout out to Lux Vision Studios, our sponsor. This will be available on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all your social media. So make sure you check us out every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you at Horizon Squares.
I was on the Zoom call from the I'm not on it from the computer. I couldn't be on. Hold up. Give me a second. I'm trying.